What's up, boys? So I just found this video recommended to me, and I decided to react to it. Why I quit my six-figure music production business. Music industry is broken. Okay, let's just even watch what this is about.
So, my story starts the same way it does for many aspiring music producers. In my car, driving an hour commute every morning to work a job that is sucking the soul out of me. And every evening after work was spent making that same hour-long drive all the way back home, back to my mom's house where I lived because I couldn't really afford anything else. I was 24 years old, and it was starting to dawn on me that with each day, I had less and less time to pursue what I really wanted to do for a living, being a music producer. And I wasn't just a kid with a pipe dream either. I had actually been doing it. When I wasn't at my day job, I was working at a commercial recording studio in my hometown, bringing in my own clients. I would use Craigslist and social media to promote myself, and I had been working with clients since I was 14 years old, running my own little home studio. So at 24, I was already 10 years into this journey, but I still wasn't able to make producing a stable full-time income, which was super frustrating because I had like 200 records under my belt at that point. And by 2012, I had earnestly tried to go full-time with music 5 different times already. All failed. Every single time I would run out of money and have to go find a day job. Warehouses, hair salons.
No, it's just fucking crazy. Like this, bro. We're just 1 minute. We're 1 minute 20 seconds in to this, and I'm already sold. I'm fucking sold. Like it just summarized my life in 1 minute 20 seconds. 24. Right. I fell in love with making music when I was 14, 15 thereabout, and I noticed that on the come up, while I had other producers like myself or other music artists like myself, they just fell by the wayside and stopped making music, and it's just that they started doing things like this. It felt like, oh, the passion is not giving them, putting food on the table for them. So let's just go get a job or something and just look for how to survive. And it pains me that potentials like this happen all over the world, and potentials of artists that could be generational talents that are not discovered today because of circumstances like this. It's just wild, bro. I don't know. I wonder why music artists are not making content. Like, it's just enough of the boring how to grow your type beats, how to sell beats, how to get placement. Like, we already know that, bro. Like, just start telling your story. Like, how do you navigate your music production life? How do you navigate your music journey? That is what we should start talking about. That's the way we can start incorporating our beats into this and start selling our beats too. That's organic marketing in summary, bro. It's wild.
Tech support, sales, whoever would be willing to hire a kid who didn't have a high school diploma. And I felt guilty because I was obviously very grateful to always have a job and a place to stay, but I just couldn't come to terms with the fact that this was it for me. This was life. Every day that I wasn't pursuing my real goals, it felt like there were bugs crawling all over my skin. It's the only way I can describe it. Complete discomfort, and I just didn't feel like I was being me. So one evening after a session at the studio, I just completely spilled my heart out to my mentor and told him that I wanted to quit my job, move to Los Angeles, and finally go for it. He said, based on my personal experience, if you don't go now, then you probably never will. So set a date and I'll drive out there with you.
Damn, if you don't go now, you would never go. That is deep. That is deep as fuck. If that line doesn't motivate you to start making content, right? Start making content. I don't know what will. I don't know what will. If you don't start now, if you don't go now, you never will. This beat is is kind of hard, I swear. This beat is kind of hard. You see how he's even incorporating his beat into his content. I said this earlier. It's just crazy, bro. Like I can just go and check the credits in his description and just go fuck with the beat or purchase the beat. It's just the possibilities are endless. But as long as you are not boxed to the mindset of just selling your beats, right, and just start telling your stories, you won't be able to achieve things like this, results like this. But I'm sold on his story though. 2 minutes, like it's crazy. Like it's just so much value in just so much. We still have more to go.
In the summer of 2012 when I arrived to LA, and within 30 minutes of unpacking all of my stuff onto the couch I'd be crashing on, I experienced an intense feeling that I had never experienced before in my life. It was like a physical sensation that completely overtook my body, and out of nowhere, I had to throw up. It was an anxiety attack. First anxiety attack I ever had in my life was on day one living in LA. I went on to have at least one of those every single day for the first 3 months I lived there. And don't get me wrong, LA was exciting and I was proud of myself for taking the leap, but very quickly my savings was starting to run out and I could only crash on my friend's couch for like a month. That was the deal. So I needed to find some money fast. I interviewed at almost every big studio in town, and despite the interviews going well and meeting some really awesome people, there were just no job openings at that time. And on top of that, I was made aware that the skill set I had spent 10 years developing was kind of going out of style, and I had to essentially relearn what it meant to be a modern producer entirely. So then I tried getting a regular job just to tie me over, and after endless attempts, nothing worked out there either.
But why do they do that? Like, why do these labels, like, why do these systems that are supposed to, that are designed to help to promote and nurture talents like ours, now like create strict rules because they want to show dominance, they want to have 100. See, it's just crazy how we are just so lucky that we are in the era where independent artists are doing so well, are breaking the barriers, that are showing us what is possible, right? If he had gone through the route of being an independent producer, I don't think anybody would have told him how he should make his music or how he should make his sound, or he should, like, what the fuck? Why would you say he should? Why would he have to learn to be a music producer again? Like, I still don't understand. It's still the same thing. It's still the same mindset where they come industry standard. They hear Pro Tools for mixing. Like, bro, at the end of the day, it's the result. It's the art. Does it make sense? Can you listen to it? Can you watch it? Can you feel something while watching, while listening? That's the main goal. We don't need all this classes in music. Like, it's, I don't know. Like, they're just always trying to sound too elitist for my liking. What the fuck, bro?
I remember one time I tried to apply at a UPS store, and the manager said that based on my resume, I was overqualified for the job and that he couldn't hire me. And I remember thinking, buddy, if you actually knew me, you would know that I'm not overqualified for any job. I don't know if you've ever been rejected with a compliment before, but I never had. That must be an LA
How do
thing.
you
But
how do you get rejected with a comment? Like, that's just a nice way of telling me to shut the fuck up and get the fuck out. Like, like, how do you get rejected with a comment? It's just insane.
a new person showed up in my life. He was a working actor in the film business and was related to a friend of mine back home. We met up for lunch and I told him, I've been here for a month and nothing seems to be going as planned. I had interviews at all the big recording studios that I wanted to work at. None of them are hiring. That's why I moved out here in the first place. And getting a regular job isn't working out either. I don't know what the hell to do. And he kind of just laughed in a nice way and said to me, Daniel, just moving here doesn't mean you are going for it. Fully going for it means that you are willing to truly surrender to this and give everything you have to make it happen, and don't stop until you do. He sounded like he was in a movie when he said that. At this point, All I really had left to give was enough money for a deposit on an apartment so I could set up a little home studio and start taking my own clients again. Basically, do the exact same thing I did back in my hometown. So that's what I did. Every morning, I would wake up, walk down to McDonald's for a cheap coffee and get some sunlight, and then lock myself in the studio. I'd open up my computer, go to Craigslist, and I would start posting my own ads, charging only like $15 an hour for vocal recording or $200 to $300 to produce somebody's demo. And if I saw any other studios also promoting themselves on Craigslist, I would send them an email to offer myself as an assistant. And little did I know, the next person who would change my life was right there on Craigslist.
You see how just these little decisions that we make in our life. Oh, I don't have enough streams right now. Oh, maybe I should start making content and start linking, putting the link to my songs in my bio. Maybe I'll go from 0 to 10, but it won't happen if you don't start, and it won't happen again if you don't keep doing that every day. You don't keep putting the same kind of effort every day. We always feel like these little things do not matter, but in the long run, they actually do really, really, really matter. Someone that's about to change his life, he found that person on Craigslist. See, it's crazy, bro.
This producer who had a super nice home studio that was up the road invited me over and actually paid me to assist for him. And I came to find out that this guy was making $400 to $600 per day writing, producing, and mixing songs for artists in his home studio. And he was so busy that he needed an assistant, me, to work some of his weekends so he could spend time with his family. If you're anything like me, you just started doing the math in your head. That's thousands of dollars per month making music. And the artists were barely there. They would just come over, do a vocal, and he would do everything else by himself. I had never seen anything like that back in 2012. I had only been in the studio with bands. I thought to myself, well, I can just use the internet, Craigslist, Google, Facebook, whatever was around at that time, to get some clients. I had already been doing that. But these clients don't need to be in the same room as me, which means they can live anywhere, which means I could have access to potentially thousands of clients and projects. And that's when it all finally clicked. That first year, I made around $40,000 producing music. Within a few years, that business was earning multiple six figures every year. By the end, we would end up doing over $1 million worth of projects. I had Grammy-winning producers asking me how I was doing it, and executives at big publishing companies encouraging me to continue growing the business. The founder of SoundBetter reached out to me and met up just because he thought we might be a competitor. I moved the company to Nashville where the taxes were cheaper, hired and developed a team of producers. We built a local studio too, got into sync, had songs chart on Billboard, got to work with Fortune 500 brands. We launched a YouTube channel and community called Make Pop Music and built multiple income streams with courses and sample packs. Up until now, my only dream in life was to make a full-time living and build a solid career with music. And I had achieved that goal to a level that was honestly totally beyond what I ever imagined.
Damn.
And if this was a Disney movie, then that would be the end of this video. Me and my dream job would ride off into the sunset and live happily ever after. But that is not the end to this story.
Okay, plot twist. Bro. Don't do this to me, bro. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. I was already happy. I was already excited. That would be like the end goal of everything. Like everybody wants to get there. Don't tell me there's something else is about to happen.
Unfortunately, things spiraled out of control. So you know those videos on the internet, right, where the guy is standing in front of a beautiful ocean like this one and telling you about how he followed his dreams and found success and that you can too. My version of that story is a little different, and at the risk of sounding dramatic, at the lowest point of my career in 2017, I took the last little bit of money that I had to my name, came down here, rented a oceanfront hotel room very similar to the one that I'm at now, and through some really, really heavy drinking, tried to muster up enough courage to just end it here. I mean, that's where I was at. I could
Yo, you just what and what? It just got dark pretty quick. Like, and what? He achieved everything wanted now. Like, okay, I'm just okay. Let's just. I'm glad he didn't. I'm just glad he did it.
not see a light at the end of the tunnel. Um, that was it. So, how the hell did I get here? I'd gotten completely sober when I was 18 and had stuck to it for 10 whole years while I was chasing my music goals. I contributed most of my success to being sober. But in the last year of running my music production company, I relapsed and broke my sobriety. And the reason was because I thought that achieving my goals would fill a void in myself. I was searching for a feeling and a validation that would finally make me feel comfortable in my own skin. And it just never came. No matter what we achieved, it never came. Everyone that worked for me eventually had gone off on their own. They all seemed to have a next step in their career path, a bigger vision for themselves beyond just working for me. But this was all I had. It was my only thing. I didn't have a vision for myself beyond achieving that first big goal. And what happened was that I started to feel extremely unfulfilled despite doing everything I had set out to do. And I just didn't know how to cope with that or face that reality. I left Nashville and I moved back home to the hometown that I was once so desperate to escape from. And I spent 16 months in the most self-destructive bender of my entire life and went all the way back down to zero. Financially, physically, mentally, and spiritually, zero. And it ended up being the best thing that ever happened to me. In February of 2018, I checked myself into a rehab, a place that I hadn't been since I was a teenager. And towards the end of the program, me and a group of other guys going through the same struggle had to each make a plan for what we were going to do for work to earn a living after the program was over. And for the first time in a few years, I finally felt that feeling of inspiration again, because when you're at the bottom, the only direction to go from there is up. And there's actually a lot of freedom to that. I could try anything that I wanted to try. And a few times during my 16-month bender, in a drunken state, I would fantasize about starting a business that helped other producers avoid what I was going through in that moment. And to be honest, I was probably just trying to make myself feel better about my situation. But now I was in a position where I could actually give that idea a fair shot. I had a ton of experience developing producers. I had built a successful music production company, and producers had already been asking me to help them with this stuff for like 2 or 3 years. So around 60 days sober, I sent one email to the Make Pop Music email list with an offer for producers. I would meet with them once a week, one-on-one, and personally help them get their business off the ground. And at first, I was definitely met with a ton of skepticism. I even had friends in the industry start to distance themselves from me because they were weirded out by this new direction I was taking. So initially, I thought this idea was dead on arrival. But within the first month, a small group of music producers decided to give me a shot, which I'll forever be grateful for. And my new business generated $14,000 that month, enough to help me pay off my medical bills and get back on my feet. I was always taught to believe that you only get one shot to make it in the music industry. I was told just choose one thing you want to be, artist or producer or manager, whatever, then go all in on that, and you'll either be one of the people that makes it or one that doesn't. That's it. And in my experience, that's just not a true representation of reality and how things go. As
Hmm.
long as we're alive and breathing, we have another chance. And the goal that we first set out to achieve may open the door to some new idea that you would have never thought of in the first place. Everyone looks at success as arriving at some destination or reaching some benchmark, but
Hmm.
I haven't found success to look like that at all. My little rehab business experiment is now bigger than my first music company.
Nah, I'm not lie, bro. His story is truly, truly inspirational. Like the roller coaster, bro.
We've served over 600 clients, from small bedroom studios to Grammy winners, helping them on their own journey to financial stability, and over time, building the ideal version of their career, whatever that means to them individually. And you probably noticed that throughout my journey, I met not just one person that had all of the answers, but a lot of different people who provided me with the mentorship I needed to unlock that next level in my career. And that is the experience that we've replicated for the producers in our community at Dark Label. As I've grown up in the music industry and have gotten to work intimately with people who are at the top of their game, I've learned that seeking validation through success will not fill that void inside of you. And whatever will fill that void probably won't come from work or money at all. That will have to be found somewhere else, somewhere that doesn't have anything to do with any of this stuff. And to those that want to, I hope you hang in there long enough to truly learn that lesson, because it makes having a career in this industry a much easier, more enjoyable experience. I'm
Damn.
glad that I did.
I'm not. Bro, a lot can be said, but I'm just going to leave it as that. Dude, this video got to me. The music industry is so tough, man. Thanks for sharing your story, bro. Thanks, respect. So, did you just give up the ownership to make pop music whitey channel before your bender stint? I check out that channel a lot. I also do too. It was after January 2019. Is when Austin and Miranda fully took over. Thanks for watching. It was after. Damn. Ah, jeez. This was awesome. I'm going through my biggest blessing in my career. Last 2, 4, 5 years totally changed my life. It's a blessing, but it's also scary. Weird, lonely at the top. There's no help for once when you're up. Just traps. I've always been a lifelong studio junkie, creative kid, and I've always had success 3 times usually. 3 times usually, nice spike. This time it's more like a mountain and still growing. I can relate to the dead ends. Whoa, speed bump, etc. That's why it's so fucking rewarding when things finally line up and work. Pros for being vulnerable and telling your story. This is what I've been saying. This is what I've been talking about, dog. Like, see, how to start. I've started. Nah, we don't need this, though. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, you guys see. Thank you. I needed this. I need to comment, man. Thanks for sharing your story. And this bro deserves a follow. Yeah. You guys tell me what you think, and also, um, yeah, I'd like to hear some of your stories as well. How are you navigating this music production, this music journey, basically? How are you navigating it? I'd like to hear some of your stories and also use that as a source of inspiration for myself. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay safe. Peace.